Digital dividends, strengthening the analog foundation of the digital revolution. Expanding opportunities, creating jobs and boosting labor productivity with Jane Treadwell.
Hi MOOC students, my name is Jane Treadwell and I'm the Practice Manager at the World Bank's Transport and ICT Global Practice. It's my great pleasure to welcome you to Module 3 of this MOOC, Expanding Opportunities, Creating Jobs and Boosting Labour Productivity. In this module, we will address the impacts of digital technologies to jobs and productivity, including the potential downsides like labour market polarisation and growing inequality, and eventually to the global race between jobs and skills. The WDR team's research shows clearly that digital technologies can improve overall welfare and reduce poverty. Only with complementary investments in policies and institutions can they also reduce inequality. In Africa alone, 11 million youth are expected to enter the labour market every year for the next decade. Born in the internet era, they live in a world full of new and exciting opportunities. But these opportunities come hand in hand with fundamental and rapid changes in the world of work, as digital technologies increase the demand for advanced skills, and many skills quickly become obsolete. From a technological standpoint, fewer than half of today's school children in China, Croatia, or Thailand can expect to find a job in an occupation that exists today. But more than jobs disappearing, they will be transformed. The challenge for policymakers is to ensure that all current and future workers can seize the growing economic opportunities that accompany the spread of digital technologies. The risk is that rapid technological change will end up increasing inequality and leaving many behind, blunting the digital dividends. The potential gains from technological progress for workers and consumers in developing countries are indeed large. The overall impacts of digital technologies on employment and earnings are positive, if highly heterogeneous, and mediated through three mechanisms: creating jobs, increasing worker productivity, and benefiting consumers. Digital technologies can create jobs and increase earnings in the small information and communication technology, ICT, sector, and much more in the sectors that use ICT. They also increase worker productivity by augmenting human capital and connecting people to work and markets. And they can benefit consumers by lowering prices and expanding the variety of goods and services available, thus producing consumer surplus. Digital technologies promote inclusion by boosting employment and earnings in the ICT sector or in ICT occupations across the economy. Importantly, they support job creation and earnings in sectors that use ICT, when firms and the self-employed adopt new technologies and grow, as well as through ICT-enabled outsourcing and entrepreneurship. For example, Hormuz Telecom, the largest operator in Somalia, employs 5,000 staff, but supports 25,000 agents. By lowering information barriers and costs, the internet increases experimentation and gives rise to new opportunities for entrepreneurship and self-employed workers. Online commerce coordinated through the internet, also known as the on-demand or sharing economy, in which people rent assets or command services directly from one another, for example Uber and Airbnb, is growing rapidly. It is still small overall and just emerging in developing countries. This flexibility is likely to be valuable for women and youth and for people between jobs. But these benefits come at a possible cost, since these jobs do not provide much work security or protection to workers. Digital technologies can complement human capital, allowing workers to focus their efforts on activities with higher value and making them more productive. In fact, there has never been a better time to be a well-educated worker. Digital technologies increase labour productivity within firms. Workers who are able to work with digital technologies and complement them are well positioned to access more and more rewarding employment and higher wages. Perhaps most significantly, digital technologies are improving access to markets and productive inputs. Technologies, especially the internet, make it easier for people to sell products in new markets. E-commerce platforms are one example. In Uganda, wider mobile phone coverage induced market participation of farmers in remote areas, especially amongst those producing perishable crops. For the poor, who rely on mobile phones and often do not have access to a fixed line, the biggest gains from digital technologies are likely to come from improved access to information. They lower information and search costs, reduce friction and uncertainty, eliminate costly journeys, and reduce the risks of accidents and crime. Through social and professional networking sites and better connections with friends and family, the internet offers many benefits to individuals as consumers, such as consumer convenience, expanded choice, better quality leisure time, and access to more knowledge. These benefits are consumer surplus, often not captured in GDP statistics. Digital technologies have thus also enhanced welfare. Across 12 countries in Africa, 62% of people believe that their family is better off because of mobile phones, whereas only 21% disagree and 17% are not sure. And 76% of people say mobile phones help save on travel time and costs. A majority, 62%, also believe that mobile phones make them more secure. For workers, digital technologies generate new opportunities for employment and earnings, but also risks. Two major risks are the speed of labour market changes and the destruction of jobs. Non-standard forms of work and shorter job tenures are likely to become more common, especially among youth. Beyond skill upgrading, the challenge is to ensure that labour regulations facilitate and do not impede these transitions, and that social protection systems support workers when they are between jobs or not working regularly. A second risk relates to the changing nature of work and the quality of internet-enabled jobs, such as micro-work or jobs in the on-demand economy. These new forms of work provide workers and firms with flexibility and improve efficiency in the use of resources, but they also come with a possible erosion of workers' bargaining power and a lack of benefits, such as unemployment and health insurance or severance pay. Perhaps the biggest risk from technological change, however, is that of widening income inequality. Although technologies are becoming widespread, the economic payoffs are not. The poor almost exclusively use only mobile phones not connected to the internet, and even if they had access to the internet, they lack the skills to use it productively, with many still unable to read in the first place. Declining labour shares in income and job polarisation are only symptoms. At their heart is the fact that digital technologies complement and augment some skills, and thus some workers, whilst replacing others. So, recent skill-biased technological change favours workers with advanced skills. Not only is overall employment moving toward occupations intensive in these more advanced skills, but even within a given job, skill demands are similarly shifting. Because of this, two sets of skills are increasingly important in today's labour markets: ICT skills and higher-order cognitive and socio-emotional skills. The new economy offers a premium for strong foundational cognitive and socio-emotional skills, and for ICT skills. In fact, workers using these new economy skills and technology are better remunerated by 25 to 40% than their peers with the same level of education, but performing traditional tasks and jobs. ICT skills include effective application of ICT systems and devices. Those range from ICT specialists who have the ability to develop, operate and maintain ICT systems to basic ICT users who are competent users of the mainstream tools needed in their working life, such as email, Excel and Outlook. Employers are looking for ICT skills, but cannot find them. In the former Yugoslav Republic of Macedonia, 43% of firms say ICT skills are very important for workers, but more than 20% say that workers lack them. Although the same workers lacking ICT skills often also lack other skills or face other barriers to employment, digital literacy limits their employment opportunities. In closing, let me turn to explore what the future of jobs looks like. Future employment growth is likely to come from jobs that cannot be fully or partially automated, largely outside the ICT industry. New jobs are also likely to emerge in the digital economy, in the analysis of data such as data scientists, in the development and maintenance of apps and other software, and in support services. The challenge is to start reforms today to maximise the digital dividends and to prepare for any disruptions.